What's up, guys? This is the Audioengine D1, and this is a love-hate DAC amp for me, and I'll explain a few reasons why. But first, as always, let's go ahead and get into build. So it is an entirely plastic design. There really isn't too much exciting about this. It does feel very solid, very well built, but it is plastic. Regarding inputs and outputs, you have a USB input, an optical input, RCA outs, a 3.5 millimeter out, a power button, and an analog volume button. I'm very happy that it is analog because it does not have an actual indicator on the knob itself. Now, this USB input is made to be the power input. Now, I'll get to that USB for the computer in a second, but I want to talk about the power of this thing because it's really, really, really finicky. When I plug this into my computer, I've never had any issues with anything being driven off my computer before. However, the power output for the headphone, at least, is very, very poor on my computer. If I plug it into a wall outlet, it does much better. It's a lot louder. And actually, it can drive most of the headphones that I have here at my disposal right now, which is a great thing. And that's M40Xs, M1060s, can't really do T50s. Every IEM I tried, and it even did AKG K712. So it could do a myriad of different headphones if it was plugged into a wall, if it was plugged into an actual outlet. So consider that for your purchase if you don't have either a lot of outlet space or you want something that is powered just fine off of your computer. Your computer may vary. I did various outputs for USB 2, USB 3. I even tried it from my TV, which has various USB outputs as well, and I had kind of the same issue. On the TV, it didn't work that well. So it's highly dependent on source, and it didn't really seem consistent, and I didn't really like that. I also couldn't find any maximum listed output specs on the website. And the same issue with the Audioengine D3, with the D3's manual saying that it will play 10 ohms to 10,000 ohms. The Audioengine website says that it will play 10 ohms to 10,000 ohms, which again, I don't know if I'm missing something. I don't know if there's some headphone out there that I really don't know about, but I haven't seen anything over 600 ohms before. Please let me know if there is something like that because I don't really want to be calling them out for something that does exist. But even if it did, this could not power it, even with a wall outlet. It isn't that strong. 250 ohms from a wall outlet was really pushing it, and in terms of output strength, it was unusable if it was powered off of a PC. Now, that being said, I did say I love/hate this thing. Most of the output problems and the finickiness is part of the hate part. What I love about this thing is it is an incredibly good DAC. It's extremely clean. It's cleaner than the Fola 2, not as clean as the Oppo Ha2, and I really like it as a 24-bit DAC. It does a really, really good job. And the headphone amplifier that's coming out of this, even though it's not very powerful, it is extremely clean. So if you're going to use the amplifier out of this thing, you're going to want to stick with low impedance, high sensitivity headphones. That's going to be your best bet. Mostly IEMs and very easy to drive headphones. Okay, now I do want to cover the issues with this because for this particular device, there were a myriad of different issues. Now, this is a secondhand unit. This did come from Zeos. I'm not being paid or sponsored by Audioengine or anybody to say anything in particular about this. The biggest issue I had with this was having a really finicky USB input for the audio. Now, when I plugged it into the PC, I would say 1 out of every 5 to 8 times I plugged it in, it would actually work. If I restarted my computer, I would have to restart the process. I looked for drivers. I looked for anything and everything that I could fix it. I tried to reinstall the USB device multiple times. Nothing seemed to fix the issue. It's hard for me to tell since I don't have another unit if it was my PC or if it's the Audioengine D1 in general. So if you have any issues like that, please let me know in the comments down below. The optical did work every single time. That wasn't an issue at all. And I know I'm reiterating a little bit, but I did find the picky power source really kind of more of an annoyance because I felt like the output strength and sound wasn't really reliable. Once you got it, it was golden. It was great. But when you didn't have it, it was really kind of annoying. And just to give you an example of the diversity, the AKG K712s, at the best driven I got this, plugged into a wall outlet with an optical input controlling via the volume dial, I was able to drive AK712s to my heart's content with a lot of headroom. With the lower end of power, when I plugged it into my PC, I couldn't even drive M40s to an enjoyable level, and I consider those to be pretty efficient headphones. 9500s were really hard for it at that level. The only thing I was able to really run with PC power were all in-ear headphones, and on the dial it was probably turned up 75% of the way, so that should show you the diversity and how much power this thing can put out depending on the source. There is one benefit that I did really like about this thing, is that it prioritizes the headphone output over the RCAs. So if you have RCA RCA is plugged into, let's say, those mica speakers back there, and then you plug in a headphone, it stops playing to the micas and just plays to the headphone. Both are controlled via the volume dial. So in conclusion, I'm going to say that most of the connectivity issues, I will say, let's just blame my computer for it and say that it's either this particular device or it's just an issue with my computer and how it interacts to the Audioengine D1. But regarding the power, because I was able to get consistent results off of either my computer or the TV, I'm going to blame that on this device. However, when it did work, the sound was amazing. It just wasn't all that powerful. I think it's overpriced and the functionality is not that great. I'd prefer to have at least one analog source that we could plug in here, like 3.5 millimeter, and I wish they would change this USB input into a micro USB. However, I do know that Audioengine is coming out with a few new DAC amp combos. I'm not sure what model names are, I'm not sure what they look like, but when they did send me the D3, they did confirm that they are making new things. Initially, I asked to review the N22, which is like a desktop speaker amplifier, and they said that they were actually trying to phase that out to make way for these new models. So hopefully something more powerful and more reliable is coming, because I really do like Audioengine. They just have a few problems that I think they can twist and work out, and then it's going to be a golden product. Overall score is going to be a 6 out of 10 for this device. You can find links to the D1 and all of my recommended items down below. I want to thank Zeos for sending this out for me to review. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, let me know. And then start a conversation about this thing in the comments section down below. Subscribe if you're not already. What are you doing with your life? Come on. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Stay safe. Don't do anything your mom would approve of. Peace.